Hey guys, Blake here with Rack Attack, your one-stop shop for all things adventure. Now, whether you're hitting the trails, going on a weekend road trip, or just cruising around town, our job is to get you geared up the right way. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 bike racks you're going to see on the road this season. The Kuat Piston Pro X, the Thule T2 Pro XTR, the Thule Verse, the Thule Epos, as well as the Yakima StageTwo. Now, trying to find the right bike rack isn't really a one-size-fits-all operation. It's all geared towards the end user, you. Now, those design features that make these bike racks so special are really the differentiating factors for you to pick the right bike rack for your summer activities. So let's take a look and do the deep dive on the top 5 bike racks on the road this season. Let's check them out. All right, so let me introduce you to the Piston Pro X by Kuat. Now, in life, we all know that we all have a few of those milestones that we never forget, right? Maybe your high school graduation, your senior prom, maybe even holding your first child. Well, all those are pretty cool, but I can tell you right now, one that you're never gonna forget is the first time you ever hit the piston on a Piston Pro X. Now, this wouldn't be a bike rack walkthrough video if I didn't talk about capacity. The bike rack is able to cover you for 2 bikes up to 67 pounds apiece. So whether or not you have your full suspension mountain bike, typically most of your e-bikes, or a light road bike, Kuat's got you covered. So let's talk about the action of the arms themselves. Now, Kuat calls these their piston-powered lift assist arms, and they are as smooth as they sound. To be able to actuate them, you just push on the button on the sides, the arm lifts up pretty effortlessly. Now, the days of you having to fumble with a hook to be able to secure your bike on there, those days are long over. Now, once the arm is opened up, once you put your bike on, you close it around the front tire with no frame contact, and you're pretty much done. So let's talk about the other elephant in the room, the Kashima coated pistons. Now, if you're not familiar with Kashima coating, typically they're found on Fox racing shocks, as well as some of your higher end mountain bike shocks. Now, this specialized anodized coating is actually designed to reduce friction, as well as to add a lubricating factor over the course of that shock being actuated over and over and over again. The fact that it's on a bike rack just goes to show how awesome this bike rack is, and it really goes to show the mentality behind Kuat and how they actually design their bike racks. It's pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. Now, another big key feature of this bike rack is the innovative wheel hoop design. This allows you to be able to fit even some of your bigger fat tire bikes or your skinnier road bikes in this wheel hoop here, as well as no tools needed to be able to adjust for different size tires on the fly. So what do you get when you get your Piston Pro X? A few different things. Of course, the bike rack itself. It does also come with its own bike lock that you're able to actually thread through the bikes themselves and into the bike rack here, which is lockable via key. Also, it does have an integrated security Allen key that is magnetized into here, which will also be locked via the key that you are able to actually use to be able to go into the Hitch wedge adapting sleeve that goes into your receiver. So if somebody's going to steal your bike, they're going to be working for it. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job correctly if I didn't tell you about the Piston Pro X's little brother, the Piston Pro. Now, you do see a few differences between the 2 bike racks. One of them being the finish on the Piston Pro is going to be more of a matte black versus a glossy black on the Piston Pro X, as well as we don't have the lights on this guy as well. Not to mention, this one does go away with the Kashima coated pistons. Now, as far as everything else goes, it's pretty much the same, minus a couple little features that you find on the Piston Pro X, but still with all the Kuat quality that we all know and love. So whether you're going on an epic mountain bike journey or just a weekend getaway, the Kuat Piston series of bike racks got you covered. Starting with that one-handed arm actuation with the built-in pistons, all the way down to some of the finer details that really separate these bike racks from the crowd. And also, if you want more of a budget-friendly option, the Piston Pro versus the Pro X is also a great option without sacrificing quality. Now, what accessories can I get from a Piston Pro X or my Piston Pro? It's a good question. Now, historically, Kuat has always done a really good job with offering different accessories for all their bike racks in their line. The Piston series is no exception. Now, in this case, with the innovative design of the Piston series of bike racks, that you're able to actually take the arm and bend it further down, which allows you to use their ramp accessory. That ramp accessory would click into here, allowing you to have a bike ramp that goes down, allowing you to take your bike and roll it right onto the bike rack. No more lifting it onto the bike rack, as well as taking the front arm and squeezing it down on the front tire to secure it down. At that point, you would run into the rear and secure it in, and you're done. Now, a few other accessories that Kuat offers is their High-Low or High-Low Pro. That is going to be a hitch extender that you would actually put on before you put on the bike rack. That would allow the bike rack to be kicked out a little further, especially for some of those vehicles that have some clearance issues. I'm talking to you Jeep Wrangler guys or Ford Bronco guys that have that spare tire in the back. It's probably going to be a game changer. They also offer a Phat tire kit that allows you to be able to secure a Phat tire bike into this also. And the best part is that both of these bike racks that you've seen, the Piston Pro and the Pro X, do have the ability to extend them out. Meaning, right out of the box, it comes as a 2 bike. You can do a 3 bike or make it even a 4 bike with the add-ons that you can do also. All right, next up is the Yakima StageTwo. Now, whether you're an avid mountain biker or just a weekend warrior, this guy is a great option to get your bikes out on the trail. Now, let's go over a few different ways that this ends up being one of the most reliable options on the market today. All right, first things first, let's talk about capacity. Now, this bike rack is built to withstand 2 bikes up to 70 pounds apiece. Yes, that means that you're able to hold some of those heavier mountain bikes, e-bikes, and even some of your Phat tire bikes will fit perfectly fine on this without breaking a sweat. Now let's talk about style and design. The StageTwo comes in 2 different colorways. The Vapor, a clean light gray, and the darker anthracite, which is going to complement any vehicle you put it on, no matter what ride you're rolling up in. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into that design factor. Now, the StageTwo has a great ease of use factor that Yakima nailed. Now, this intuitive tilt mechanism here in the handle allows you to be able to tilt the bike rack down, but also be able to access the rear of whatever vehicle you're putting it on. So no more taking off the bikes to be able to access the back of the vehicle. Tilt and go. Plus, the rack has fully adjustable saddles to make sure your bike stays secure. Along with these padded arms here, you're never going to have to worry about your bike rack scratching your bike ever again. Now, thanks to these saddles and the padded arms, everything stays in place. Now, when it comes to safety, Yakima doesn't mess around. When you end up having bigger bikes on the StageTwo, depending on the vehicle, you do run the risk of blocking your taillights and or your license plate. That's where this guy comes in handy. This will allow the people behind you to be able to see when you're braking or turning, as well as if a policeman ends up coming behind you, he's having a bad day, you don't want to get yourself into some hot water. That's where that license plate relocation bracket comes in handy. So being able to alert the people behind you and have that nice peace of mind, always a good option. Now, if you have one of those Phat tire bikes that a lot of people are starting to love nowadays, is that Yakima is able to take care of you too. With their optional accessory, the Phat tire kit, the StageTwo is able to accommodate bikes up to 5 inches in tire width. Now, also, Yakima's been around for a long time. They understand how important it is to have the right accessory for the right time. Now, that's where the RampUp kit comes in handy. Now, this is another optional accessory that you can get for this bike rack that allows you to be able to clip into a ramp so you're able to actually roll your bike up onto the bike rack itself. No more having to lift. Your back will thank you. If you haven't heard of this bad boy yet, I don't know where you've been. The T2 Pro XTR is designed for the demanding bike enthusiasts. Now, this has got time-tested durability, award-winning design, partner that with the ability to handle a large variety of bikes, even some of your heavier e-bikes. Now, if you're familiar with Thule at all, you know that all their products are not just built for convenience, they're built extremely tough. That's because Thule takes all their products through their rigorous testing process at their state-of-the-art testing center. So picture your bike rack driving around the world twice. On top of that, some rigorous road conditions, even exposing them to extreme heat and extreme cold. So Thule doesn't skimp out when it comes to durability. So what can the T2 Pro XTR even carry? That's a great question. Now, right out of the box, it's going to be able to carry up to 2 bikes at 60 pounds apiece. Those bikes can be up to 5 inches in tire width and able to withstand bikes from 20 to 29-inch wheel sizes. So more or less, if you have a bike, this sucker's probably got you covered. So how the heck do you even use this thing? Let's find out. This is where I'm actually going to be using the bike rack. I want to end up actually throwing over the arms here. Now, this is fully adjustable. So push it up. I want to get it as close as I can get to the frame without actually touching the frame and cinch it down. At this point, your bike's not going to go anywhere, but don't drive off yet. Thread this guy through my rear tire. At this point, I'm done. So the fact that we are still talking about the T2 Pro XTR as one of the top racks you're going to find on the road today just is a sentiment to how solid and reliable this rack design really is. So this summer, if you're looking for a rack that is going to be as durable as you can get, as versatile as you can get, be able to handle whatever the heck you throw at it, this summer, the T2 Pro XTR by Thule probably is going to be a good choice for you. Now, anybody who knows me knows I am a huge Thule fanboy, whether it's their new Aion line of packs, sling bags, or their backpacks, even the rail. Now, I'll tell you right now, these are all my personal bags, but that doesn't stop just at their packs, bags, and luggage. It goes into their bike racks. I even have Thule bars on my truck personally, but today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the newest iteration of Thule's T2 line of bike racks, is the brand new Thule Verse. Now, how does this guy even work? Let's go through it. The arm is fully adjustable. The cool part about this guy, like I said, is that the fully adjustable wheel cups. Now, in the front as well, there is a little lever here that I'm actually able to move forward or bring back. So this allows me to have full adjustability. My bike is now going to be put onto the rack itself, going for no frame contact here. And at this point, you're able to cinch it down. A lot of people end up actually using their body weight to end up allowing it to cinch down as best as humanly possible. Feed it through that rear tire. And we're done. Now, the Verse really builds on over 2 decades of innovation. Now remember, Thule was pretty much the pioneer when it came to the no frame contact design when it came to your modern design of current bike racks. Now, that is made possible by connecting it to the wheels, so nothing is actually contacting your frame, and more importantly, your paint job. Now, what's even more exciting is that the Thule Verse has been redesigned from the ground up to be able to better accommodate different bike fits and give you more versatility than its predecessor. So what's different about the Thule Verse, right? Well, starting things off, a huge game changer. Now, both wheel cups are going to be fully adjustable. What does that mean? Well, now I'm able to actually dial in exactly the wheelbase that I have for my specific bike so I can get that perfect fit. Now, right out of the box, this is going to be able to accommodate up to 5-inch tires all the way up to a 53-inch wheelbase. So essentially, whether you're riding a 20-inch kid's bike or a 29er mountain bike, this is going to be able to cover you perfectly. So now this summer, if you're looking for a bike rack that's going to be able to accommodate up to 2 bikes at 60 pounds apiece, fully adjustable to be able to accommodate a bunch of different styles and ranges of bikes, has its own cable lock that's also going to be lockable, at the same time look good doing all of that, this is probably going to be a match made in heaven. The Thule Verse is going to be the one for you. Did someone say accessories? So today we're talking also about the foldable loading ramp. Now, if you start to see this is a growing trend with a lot of different platform style racks that are on the market, you are totally correct. A lot of the bikes you see nowadays are getting heavier and heavier. The appeal is, with the current model of platform or tray style bike racks, is that they have to end up accommodating for that extra weight. The need is there. So after you end up riding all day, having to lift that bike onto the bike rack ends up being a little bit of a pain in the neck for some people. So that's where this guy comes in handy. Now you're able to pop it into the end and you roll your bike right on. Now again, the really big appeal for the foldable loading ramp is that this guy folds here, and it's a super packable, stowable option. So it doesn't take up a ton of room in your vehicle. Now, next up is the Epos by Thule. Now, probably one of the most user-friendly and versatile racks on the market today, the Epos is designed to make loading and unloading your bikes as easy as humanly possible. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into it to find out what makes this bike rack so special and see if this possibly is the right fit for you. Now, the core of the Epos bike rack is its fully articulating bike attachment system. Now, what the heck does that even mean? Well, that means that you have two fully articulating bike attachment arms. Now, in the case of the 3-bike variation, you would have 3, is that you're able to attach your bike anywhere that you see fit. Meaning, with this actually fully articulating, I can put this on my seat post or even on my frame rail, depending on my bike's style and geometry. Now, no more struggling to find the perfect attachment point or the perfect fit. This is extremely versatile so that I can make this fit on any bike. Now, for those of you that have heavier bikes, this bike rack being able to accommodate bikes up to 70 pounds in this particular case, you also might want to use one of these. This is the accessory for the foldable loading ramp. You can also use on this bike rack. You just end up popping this into the slots into each corner of this bike rack, and you're able to roll your bike right onto it. So having to lift your bike onto the rack itself can also be a thing of the past. It just depends, like I said, depending on how your bike actually works out for you and how your setup works, these accessories allow you to expand and adapt your rack to fit your needs. Not to mention, they also do offer a high-grade security lock for this that is supplemental to the actual built-in locks that are into the bike rack itself. Meaning that when I end up putting in this stainless steel band that is coated in rubber, to be able to cinch this down, I'm able to put my key into it to lock it. At that point, once it is locked, I'm not going to be able to pull this out or take the bike off in this case. Now you can supplement that with that additional lock. So there's a bunch of different accessories, like I said, that you're able to actually use for this to, again, adapt your setup for your needs. How the heck do you use the Epos? Well, let's go over that now. The Epos is pretty unique because you also have 3 points of contact on each bike. For instance, you have your front tire or your rear tire, depending on your bike's orientation, as well as the telescoping and articulating arms that are on the bike rack itself. This innovative design is really where this bike rack shines. Now, when I end up actually having my bike on this tray here, I'm able to actually use this stainless steel band that's coated in rubber. Once I feed it around the actual bike frame or seat post, depending on your orientation, it'll actually go into this ratcheting buckle. Once that ends up being strapped in, I'm able to go around to here, which also features the ratcheting buckles in the front and in the rear of your tires to be able to secure the bike down. This is a great option for multiple different uses, multiple different bikes. The Epos is a really cool bike rack you're going to see on the road this summer. Now, the Thule Epos comes in a few different variations. The 2-bike version with no lights that you see here, and a 3-bike version. Now, both of them do have variations with lights, just depends on what works best for you. Now, the Epos itself holds up to 2 bikes, up to 70 pounds apiece. Now, in this one also, it does accommodate wheel diameters up to 29 inches. Now, wheel width, right out of the box, it's able to accommodate bikes up to 3.2 inches. Now, those of you that are rolling around in Phat tire bikes, you still can use this as well. You just end up having to get the double XL wheel straps, which extends that 3.2 inches out to 5 inches. So you definitely can use a bunch of different bikes on this bike rack. It just really depends on which setup works best for you. Now, when choosing your bike rack, lighting is always something to think about. Now, like I said before, that the Epos does come in built-in lighted options in the 2 or 3 bike variations, but if you end up skipping that at the original purchase, you still can be able to accommodate lights. With the Thule lamp kit, that is an additional accessory you can get for this bike rack, is that you can actually add lights where the reflectors would go, as well as it does have a license plate relocation bracket. So it's always something that you can expand and adapt your bike rack for different uses down the road. So let's dive a little deeper into what makes this bike rack so darn special. Now, first things first is Thule's auto-attach tool-free system, meaning that we can attach the bike rack without actually having to fumble with nuts, bolts, or any of that junk. Now, on top of that, it also has integrated wheels. So when we take the bike rack off of the vehicle to stow it in the garage, we don't actually have to break our back to lift the thing. So you just put it on the ground and wheel it around into the garage. Now, it's pretty much like your bike rack has a built-in set of roller skates. Pretty cool. So here's the bottom line. Whether you end up picking one of the bike racks that we discussed today or any of the other ones from some of these great manufacturers, the point of your bike rack is to make getting out and riding that much easier. You shouldn't have to stress out about getting your bike to the trail. You should be worried more about how much fun you're going to have when you actually get there. So whether you end up wanting to get your hands on one of these, stop by at any of your local Rack Attack stores across North America, or if you want to hang out with us a little bit longer, stop by at rackattack.com. We'll see you out there.